Okay. Making sure we got some things under control here. Um, what's going on, y'all? Twitter world, YouTube world. April 18th, Thursday night, going live with you guys for another episode of the It's in the Game podcast. Myself, Randy J. Cruz, Rendy, letter J C R U Z, on Twitter, IG, TikTok, all that good stuff. My co-host, Danny Blanco, got some family stuff going on, respectfully, so he will be joining us sometime tomorrow. We do have one more show coming up tomorrow at around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Gonna talk about NBA playoffs. Got some Knicks talk with my guy and big time Knicks fan, Ben Lyons. Should be joining us shortly. But in the meantime, between time, I do want to get you guys to, let us know if you got any questions, comments. Hit us up in the chat, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitter. We'll greatly appreciate that. Also, follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/ or / Cruise Control Podcast. Again, go ahead, download, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for your boys on the program at It's in the Game Pod on TikTok. My boy Denny Blanco and I will be doing this just about hopefully after every night of the NBA playoffs, if our schedule allows us to do so. So again, hit us up with some comments. Want to read it on the air. I want to get the followers number up, the subscribers number up, because you guys being a part of this show is really important to us. And the bottom line is, we want to be more consistent, whether it be on Twitter, IG Live, or on the YouTube. So let us know what you got going on. If you agree with us or disagree with us with what we say during the duration of this show, we'd love to hear from you guys once you guys get a chance. So yeah, Ben Lyons will be joining us in a few minutes. The Knicks, real quick, will be taking on Philadelphia in the first round. Boston will await the winner of Chicago and Miami tomorrow night. We also have Orlando and Cleveland and Milwaukee and Indiana in round one. For the Eastern Conference. For the Western Conference, we have the Nuggets and Lakers 2-7 matchup. The Thunder will await the winner of the Sacramento Kings New Orleans Pelicans matchup for the 1-8. We also have the Minnesota Timberwolves against Phoenix Suns in the 3-6 matchup. And we follow up that with the Clippers and the Mavericks in round one as the 4-5. So last couple of days, last couple of nights, we've been talking about the play-in, the Knicks. Obviously, we are here in New York, so we're going to be very Knicks centric, Knick heavy throughout this playoff run. I want to give a big shout out to Mills Media for coming on last night, hanging out with us for like over an hour on some Knicks talk, NBA playoffs. Lots of fun. So go ahead, check it out. If you're not following us on Twitter, go ahead. It's Randy J. Cruz, Rendy, letter J C R U Z. Got the following couple shows on the timeline. Go ahead, check it out. It's some good stuff. My co-host is at Sir Denny Blanco on Twitter, IG, and TikTok. So as we wait, just my 2 cents of these playoffs. Really looking forward to these matchups. Those who know me, I am a big Knicks fan, so I'm going with them for the whole entire duration of the playoffs. They got an interesting matchup in round one with Philadelphia. I think we can. I think we can get by Philly. I think in about 6. I want to say respectfully, because they do have the defending MVP on the roster. Not sure how healthy he would be during these playoffs, but as long as you got him and All Star and Tyrese Maxey, they should be a formidable team in these playoffs. But you look at what the Knicks have been able to do this season with the motor behind All Star point guard Jalen Brunson, MVP candidate, All NBA first team candidate Jalen Brunson, and being able to really will this team into the first overall seed. I'm sorry, the second overall seed in the conference, behind some injuries to Randall, Mitchell Robinson, and OG Anunoby for pretty much a good third of the season. So there is no Randall. Obviously, you look at other matchups. There's no Giannis. There's no. I mean, for a couple games, Jimmy Butler is out. Rozier is out. Um, it's really gonna be a tight race in either conference to make sure everybody's fully healthy, and that's what you want to see. You want to see teams at their full 100% healthy state. So it's a toss up. I'm looking forward to the playing games tomorrow to see who Boston gets and who OKC gets. If I had to put my money on it now, I would say Chicago's going to win that game because there is no Jimmy Butler in that matchup. But you never know. Sacramento, I think they're going to. Also, Zion got hurt, so that was the one guy I kept trying to recall who else got hurt as far as a big marquee name talent. So I got Sacramento against OKC, and I have Chicago against the Boston Celtics to round up the whole entire bracket of the NBA playoffs. So I'm not sure what matchup you guys are looking most forward to. Should be very interesting. I think the Lakers getting in as number 7. They're gonna try to make some noise and take down the defending champion Denver Nuggets. They got their work cut out for them. But just seeing them in the playoffs it's a nice treat. The Warriors got some rethinking to do to see what they're gonna do in the next couple of years with Curry, with Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, the whole core of that team. But we're gonna get to more of that and the Knicks later on. But let me give my guy Ben Lyons here real quick. Me Ben.
Yo, what's
What's up, my guy?
How are you, man? It's nice
I'm
to see
doing
you.
good. You?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
I like their hair, man. I like you look like John Cena right now.
I'm just happy. Hey, I'm just happy I got it, man. I'm just happy I got it. You know what I mean?
Oh man. Before we start, how you been, man? Everything's good?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm in Atlanta. I've been doing some work with TNT Sports and NBA TV, so I'm happy
Nice.
about that. Yeah, yeah. And
So you're very excited about these playoffs, right?
of course, yeah, but also no expectations. Like I'm so excited, but also like I have no, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be emotionally distraught if they can't figure it out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Before we get to the Knicks, obviously that's why you're on this show. But what are the other playoff matchups that you're kind of like as a fan looking forward to watching?
So I saw Brian Windhorst on ESPN the other day say this. He said, "Take all the seedings and just flick them away," because that's where we're at. It seems like the NBA has taken a page out of the NFL's book of wanting parity across the league.
Right.
Even with Giannis in the lineup, I like Indiana's chances. The Jimmy Butler injury hurts Miami, obviously. I don't think they'll give the Celtics a run should they get past Chicago tomorrow. So I'm not really looking forward to that series. But Orlando and Cleveland, who you
Mhm.
got? I mean, let's jump up and play. Like that's what's so dope about this year's playoffs. Mavericks, Clippers,
Mhm.
both those teams could lose in the first round or they could win the NBA title. So I love the fact that we have no idea what's going to happen.
So me and Denny have been doing these preview shows the last couple of nights. He's dealing with some family stuff right now, so he will be joining us tonight. But as far as a potential upset, I think we both picked Orlando over Cleveland. I think we both picked Indiana over Milwaukee, and we both picked Dallas over the Clippers. Obviously, is that much of an upset? But you look at the seedings 3, 6, 4, 5. Those are the 3 matchups we feel there's a potential upset.
Don't bet against these Michigan men, okay? Orlando's got the Wagner boys. Don't bet against these Michigan men,
Mhm.
okay? I like Orlando. Picked them to win the division early in the year. I'm very happy actually that the Knicks don't have them. For some reason, I just had these nightmares of Paolo Banchero, becoming a star in the Garden. So, we'll
Mhm.
see what happens with this team that besides Joe Ingles, they don't really have any other vets. This is a
No.
young team, but a really quality team that's played well from start to finish this season. So I'm very excited to see what Orlando does in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think obviously the last couple of days, fans were going back and forth for like, the Knicks. I hope they don't get this team. I hope they don't get that team. I think it's whether it's Philly, Miami, Indiana, Milwaukee, everybody is going to be a tough foul. You can't sniff at nobody and feel like, oh, it's going to be a sweep or a gentleman sweep. So even if we got Orlando, Banchero, Cole Anthony, the Wagner brothers, like that's a formidable team that can really upset you in round one.
There would have been nothing more Knicks-ish than Cole Anthony going off in the Garden like that. Thank God we don't have to experience that movie this spring. Very excited about that. But yeah,
Right.
the idea that they're ducking teams or the idea that they would mess around Sunday against Chicago and not try and win the game, like that's all nonsense. I mean, you even saw it with LeBron and AD. These guys have champions. They had a chance to, try to stack the deck in their favor and lose the play in to try to avoid Denver. And Bron's like, no, let's just go play. And that's what you have to do if you are gonna, take it to the next level. So I'm glad the Knicks have the Sixers first time since '89. Last
Yeah.
time that happened, Mark Jackson was, sweeping them off the floor at the Spectrum. So I'm very much looking forward to this matchup and seeing what this group that is. Honestly, like, dude, I see you at the Garden all the time. You've been there a lot more than I have this year. I know there's lots of comparisons to the 90s Knicks, but for those who aren't in the building like you are, you have to admit there is a special feeling around this group. I don't know if it's destined for June. I don't know if they are the 90s Knicks again, but you've been at the Garden your whole life. Like, this group feels a little different, which I really enjoy.
No, you're right. I think when you go in there, you feel like we have a winning core right now. Like obviously, when you go back and even in the mid 2000s or the late 90s, whatever, when you walk in there, you don't walk in there and feel like, man, we're gonna lose tonight. No matter what it is, because there was a norm where the best player on the opposing team would come in, get the career high on us, or come back from injury against us because they want to put on a show, or feel like they can just bulldoze their way in the Garden. But now it don't feel like that. They feel like now when we're on the schedule, it's not a pushover team no more. Like it's definitely been a 360 feel at the Garden.
Yeah, and guys who have been cast off, who have chips on their shoulder, like that feels like a New York mentality.
Mhm.
Guys who on other NBA teams would probably not be starters
Yeah.
find themselves, contributing in a big way to this group. So, the Brunson of it aside, right? Snubbed off the Olympic team, going to be extra motivated in the hoodie. I love the photo making the rounds on X, right?
Yeah.
But the group of supporting players, the group of role players who are on their third, fourth team, it's really cool to see it come together. And not only one high profile trade this year, but two to really switch things up. It's a different group that started the season. The injuries are ridiculous. And here they are, the 2 seed in the East. It's unreal.
And I think everything aside from the Brunson signing, I think the next domino was, you get in a guy like Josh Hart on his roster, and you know what you're gonna get out of him, becoming a double master. You don't really have to create a shot for him, or you just let him go and do what he does. Because I think there were times where he was with the Blazers, and he come into the Garden and be 18 rebounds, 19.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, how was Josh Hart getting all these boards? And they saw that obviously the Nova connection with Brunson. Somehow, some way, Jalen must have been like, listen, somehow we got to get him on our roster. Now he leads to DiVincenzo. They lead to the trade for Anunoby. And it's like, okay, now we're rolling. Like, we're getting the pieces together. Three guys that have won together, been together their whole freaking life. And now you bring in key pieces like Ochua, Anunoby, Bojanovic, Alec Burks. Like, oh, now the NBA is taking this team more serious.
I'm so glad you brought up that Josh Hart performance with Portland against the Knicks. It was a Friday night early in the season last year. I remember I got tickets to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Simons had 40 and Jeremy Grant had 40, and Josh Hart had 19 rebounds. They lost to a Damian Lillard-less Portland Trailblazers. I just remember that night walking home being like, man, I can't emotionally deal with another terrible season. If
Mm-hmm.
only they had a player like Josh Hart. And then a few months later, they make the trade. They go 9-0 after the trade. And you're right. It's like that was the first domino. It broke my heart to see RJ go. I love RJ. I
Yeah.
thought he was the chosen one, and I still believe he's gonna make the Hall of Fame one day. He's gonna have a great career. But that trade has proven to be, what has separated them from the rest of the teams in the East. I think they're 812-2 with OG Anunoby in the lineup, something like that. So yeah, it's just guys and Precious on his third or fourth team. So
Yeah.
guys are coming together, and it's a fun group. Who knows if they get swept, if they sweep, if they make the Eastern Conference Finals? I have no idea. But I'm here for it. I'm locked in, and it's just fun to have playoff basketball back in New York, man. 3 out of 4 years.
So I've been saying since the beginning, even before the trade, that I felt this could be the year that obviously we were fifth last year and we made it the semis. I feel like getting a top four, top three seed, and I think propelling us to the conference finals. I think that's our goal and always our destination. Because first round that'll be a bust. Second round, cute but a bust. But if you get to a conference finals or dare I say NBA finals, then you pretty much over exceeded your expectations. Even before quickly and Barrett was there, I was saying conference finals. Now when you do the trade and seeing how they perform in January, they were like 10-2, 12-2 in January, and then Randall gets hurt. And it's like, damn, man, if he was here the whole time, I know me and you will feel extra confident about being a 2 seed and feel like, yo, we're going to the conference finals.
Yo, the Randall of it all is tough because he's such a polarizing figure with diehards. He's obviously an all-star, all NBA, but there are times where his body language and his leadership and his shot selection has Knicks fans pulling their hair out. So the fact that he's not part of this, it like I don't know, man. It makes it feel like it's there's nothing, there's no expectations now. Like all that stuff you were talking about, conference finals, first round, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, all right, well, any other team that you took off a multiple time all-star, multiple time all-league player, you'd be like, all right, they have no chance. So let's just see what this group can go out there and do and let's have some fun. I don't know, man. It's bittersweet because you want to be invested in all in, but you also know like this is going to come back and catch up with them at some point. I feel for the guy. I saw the video he posted of his shoulder surgery in LA and stuff, and clearly, an emotional time for him. I don't know if we're going to actually see him at the Garden at all. But yeah, man, injury is part of the game. You look through the history of the NBA, the postseason is defined by, Isaiah Thomas is rolling an ankle, James Worthy breaking his foot, Kevin Durant and his Achilles, Kawhi getting stepped on. It's always injuries that sadly, impact this time of year in a real way.
I mean, listen, to put a pause on the Knicks real quick, you talk about injuries. Tomorrow Zion is going to be out for the playing game. Jimmy Butler is going to be out. We mentioned Randall. Giannis is going to miss some time in that Bucks Indiana series. So that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, you have to play the game. That's why the Knicks are in a very peculiar spot. Like, can we get past Philly? Maybe see a Milwaukee team without Giannis, you just don't know, or see a potential Indiana team that you guys have, I would say, fared pretty well this season. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but your path to a conference finals is better than most, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, on any given night, they got the best player on the floor. Dude's unreal. I think they have the best player in the series, and I know Embiid is a former MVP, but he's clearly not himself if you watch the game last night. So, man, like these 40 burgers from Jalen Brunson, we can't take them for granted. And I think Knicks fans are getting to a moment where they're like, all right, well, Brunson's going to go for 40. And it's like, whoa, like he's joining the likes of Melo and Bernard King and Patrick Ewing. And you hear all these stats on the broadcast every night. It's the first Knick in 20 years to score 3 games in a row of 40 points. Like, he's historically good. So you got a historically good guy on your squad.
Yeah.
Like, you throw it up against anybody, man. I'm so fired up. Are you going to be there this weekend?
Yeah, I'll be. Shit, am I?
Amazing.
Listen, when I was there last year for the opening of the Cavaliers series in Game 3, the Garden was buzzing, and I think just to rewind to your point, you said the key word fun. I think this team was having a lot of fun. They relax. I know Tibbs can play them a whole lot of minutes, but they're looking forward to it, man. They're really out there having fun, and they know that just a little glimpse of, all right, if we were to play like this for 16 more games to get those scratches off to win a title, like, it's doable. And I think just going back to the Cavaliers, like, you see just the vibe, the energy, the Jay-Z's blasting and the locks and Biggie, you get that real New York kind of vibe on the layup line, like, oh shit, this it's about to go down.
Mm.
And now they were a 5 seed last year. Now you come in a 2 seed with home court for round 1 year and a potential round 2, which is very important. But
very important. Nobody was talking about that when they were talking about ducking Philadelphia and they should be good. Hey, you handle business against Philly, you become and you're the 2 seed, you get home court again. That would be really nice.
Right. Because I'd rather have home court against Milwaukee and Indiana as opposed to starting game 1 and 2 in the row. So again, we ain't ducking no smoke. They knew what they wanted to get for potential round 2 home court. But like you said, I think that's the one point nobody talks about.
Yeah, home court advantage means a lot, especially in the postseason, right? And the Garden is such a special place come April and May. We all know that, but it's going to be even more special if we're able to see a round 2 this year because, like, I can't remember the last time they went back to back in the second round. I would have to say it would be like 99 and 98. I don't even remember what they did in 98, but 2000 they lost in the first round after the 99 finals, or 2000 they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, or
yes, in 2000, yes.
So yes. 99 2000 when they went to the finals and the Eastern Conference Finals is the last time they've been back to back in the second round. So 24 years. I mean, come on, this is a team that is really coming together. It's a fun group. Man, I'm so hopeful. Yet also going into it with, like, I'm not stressed about it. I'm not anxious. I'm not angry. I'm not, like, confused. I'm just like, hey,
you feel confident. You feel confident.
Yeah, let's go watch some great postseason basketball. The world's most famous. Get a promotional Chase towel and call it a day.
I know you have the Knicks winning the series, but let's keep it 100. Like, how many games you think it takes for New York to beat Philly?
I think it's going to take 7. I really do. Like, as much as I want to say Knicks in 5, and they did beat Embiid, an Embiid-led Sixers team early in the year by like 30-something in Philly. But they're good, man. They got Tyrese Maxey. They got Mo Bamba now in the mix. They got, the Buddy Hield trade.
Buddy Hield,
who's a player the Knicks have always kind of been circling, right? And then, of course, if the big fella and Toby, right? You get Tobias Harris coming home. Like, they're a good team, man.
Yeah.
So if it's less than 7, I'll be surprised. I think it's going to go the distance. And when people always talk about, Knicks in 6, it's like, you really think they're going to win Game 6 on the road in Philadelphia? So it's like it's got to go 5 or it's got to go 7 for me.
I mean, Boston down 3-2 won Game 6 in Philly last year. So
that's true. Well said.
A different team.
Said.
A different team, but
fans going to be taking that Amtrak down to Philly as well.
You know what? I like that point because it's not a series where, all right, like someone like you could be in New York for the weekend. Oh, I can catch Game 3 in Philly, Amtrak, little bus ride over there, car ride 2 hours. I can catch Game 3 on the road. Not like I got to go to Milwaukee or Indiana or Miami. Like, nah, it's down the block to a degree. So
all right. So here's how close Philly is. I'll tell you a story. So if you're watching this and you're not in this part of the country, let me just tell you how close Philly is. I was flying this September to Michigan week 2 to watch them beat up on UNLV. Shout out to the eventual national champions, right? Yep. Get to the airport, 6:30 flight, says, your flight's been delayed 8 hours. Kickoff's at 3:30. I'm going to miss the game, right? My girl and I were looking at flights. Wait, there's a flight out of Philly in like 2.5 hours. We can make it. Sure enough, drove down to Philly. We were on the plane. We were in the big house to watch kickoff. Wow. So it's like that close where you can just go from airport to airport, So fans who have the means, you don't have to fly. You don't have to get a hotel. You can do it in one night. I'm telling you, Game 3, Game 4, they're going to bring out Meek Mill and Kevin Hart. They're going to ring the bell and Iverson and all that, Fanatics. I don't care. That building's going to be rocking with Knicks fans. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the orange and blue travel.
Listen, they can bring out the AIs, Dr. J, Meek Mill, Beanie Siegel, whoever they want. Because, Game 1 at the Garden is going to be Tracy Morgan, Fat Joe, it's going to be 50 Cent, Ben Stiller, Jadakiss, all the heavy hitters, because that's like that's the fun part where now you start seeing who's really supporting this team from diehards from day one. So if they want to bring out the celebrities, we got them too.
Yeah, we definitely, and that's something that we don't have problems with at the Garden, right? The problem with the Garden now is you're gonna be like, wait, that's the ninth cast member on Game of Thrones. Who's that? Oh, that girl's on Euphoria. Who's
Yeah.
that? You know.
Hmm.
But no, it's a hot ticket. Obviously, this time of year, no better place than the world's most famous. And yeah, I really do feel like this time of year, home court does matter.
Yes.
My beef with the bubble was that look, obviously crazy circumstances, and I'm grateful as a basketball fan they got that in. But how can you win an NBA title without having to go on the road?
True.
The idea I've heard from so many players over the years that it's not the actual game. It's the 2 days leading up to the game where you're in San Francisco, you walk down the street to get a bite to eat, and there's a Warrior fan yelling at you, or what. It's being in the hotel, it's being in the city, listening to talk radio. Like you hear that so many times from players over the years when they think back to their time in the finals. So,
Hmm.
you know, hey, you come to New York, the distractions, you're in the hotel, you see Randy's going to say something if he sees you on the D train, So it's like, like come to the city for a few days and let
Hmm.
that get under your skin. That's the home court advantage.
Right. Shout out to Big Task at hand saying Nick Pride, orange and blue. You
Let's
know the
go.
vibe. So I
I'm
want to say
excited, man. It feels good, man.
I
It
am
was a
too.
long time. It was
I
a
am.
long time for us to have a professional adult basketball team.
And listen, last year was fun too. As a 5 seed, we would beat Cleveland, and my boy Denny said, "Oh, the Cavs were gonna win," and they lost. And just revisiting that Knicks Miami rivalry was fantastic. They might rekindle New York in Indiana this year. You never know, but just going there, seeing monumental basketball being taken place in April and eventually May, hopefully June this year, knock on wood. It's just like, man, like this team feel like, yo, it could happen this year. You know what? They can get back next year. They can get back the following year because it's still a young team. Like nobody really old like that or veteran wise, aside from like an Alec Burke or Bojanovic. But your core of your Brunson, Dante, Hart, and OG and Randall and Mitchell, I could be Hartenstein. They're all pretty young.
It's crazy. It's crazy, Randy, when you mention all those guys because not only are they all young, they're on pretty sensible deals.
Yeah.
Even Brunson, right, might be the deal in the NBA, like the best deal in the NBA. So
Hmm.
starting from the top down, and yeah, they're a young group. They're on good deals. They're not crazy club rats. Like the city comes sometimes can shout out to the
Hmm.
Knicks tape, but they love that they love that
Oh
town
boy.
life a little much.
Yeah, I think you're the
So
only one that brings up Nick's tape a decade later. You gotta let it go, man. You gotta let
no,
it
because
go.
it drives me nuts. And I called out Kendrick Perkins for this because everyone's saying, "Oh, this is the best Knicks team since Patrick Ewing. We haven't seen the Garden rocking like this since the '90s."
Hmm.
Hello, Carmelo Anthony was third in MVP voting, led the league in scoring. J.R. Smith
Right.
was sixth man of the year. The year before that, Tyson was defensive player of the year.
Hmm.
They won 54 games, more than this group. Like, come on, let's show some love to the Knicks tape era. Let's not just gloss over them and be like, "Oh, it hasn't been as good since the '90s." It hasn't been as good in 12 years, is what it is.
No, you're right. You're right. Um, as far as your Nick fandom favorite guys, you mentioned Carmelo. Melo's like my top 10 all time in NBA in general. But a guy like Brunson, like obviously I go to the games and it just a beautiful thing to see where kids, grown people are like, yo, this guy right here is the truth. I love this guy. He has single-handedly changed the culture of Knicks basketball at the Garden. So for you seeing him in person, live on TV, has he climbed the ladder of like where your favorite Knicks of all time are, or do you feel like he's there, but he has to do like this and that to check some more boxes for you?
It's a great question, man, because my favorite Knicks of all time aren't necessarily the best players, right? Shout out
Hmm.
to Chris Childs, all NBA second interview team. So yeah, I think Brunson, we need some more playoff memories. We need some more moments. I think he'll get in the top 10, top five in a lot of Knick fans' hearts through after this run. Um, I think a big reason why he, like you said, connects with younger fans, with older fans, is he's just a pro. There's no nonsense. There's no look at me. you go to the game and you nerd out on his footwork, you nerd out on his leadership. He's relatable because he's a normal person's size, let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like, I think that's a big reason why young people related to Steph Curry and to Allen Iverson and now Jalen Brunson and Kyrie is because it's a little bit more relatable when
Yep.
someone is, under 6'10" or whatever. But, a lot of the other guys, as they started to have more success in town, the outfits started to get a little crazier, sunglasses indoors, issues with the press. He
Hmm.
don't have any of that. He comes to the
No.
gym repping the Rangers. He comes to the gym, and is ready to work. And that photo of him in the hoodie, I think, is every Knicks fan's mentality right now. The
Yeah.
podcast is fun. The podcast, I think, has helped continue to bring this group together and the community
Yeah.
together. It's really funny to me when I look at who they have on that show every week. I'm like, is Brunson just going over in the start of the third quarter to Celebrity Row and asking Action Bronson and Ben Stiller and Tracy Morgan? It's literally just all the guys.
Maybe. Maybe.
He's in the third quarter. He's taking it out of bounds. Like, what are you doing next week, Ben? You want to jump on the pod?
Exactly.
But yeah, man, he's historically good. He's not just a player of the moment. I think he's an all-time great, and we're very lucky to have him in New York.
So you got Knicks in 7, maybe 6 against Philly, right?
Yeah, I got Knicks in 7. I'm gonna go with that. I want to see this team. I want to see this team get it done. It'd be really nice to be able to get a first round win.
Bet. I got a few more before I do let you go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
What do you think
Randy at the Garden this weekend. I love
That's
it.
right. That's right. What do you think is next for the Warriors? They lost a playing game. A lot of questions about Curry and Draymond and Klay Thompson. Some are saying Klay might be leaving. Klay come off the bench. I'm hearing Orlando could be in the mix for Klay Thompson. What is? I know you've been to a couple Warrior games in your career during their heyday. What do you think they will do or should do going forward with that core 3 in Golden State?
Yeah, man. The Warriors are such a special organization. Having the privilege of covering the finals in 17 and 18 against the Cavs. I was there for the JR game. I was there for some of the nights where Steph went crazy. That was a special place, Oracle, and it's no longer there, obviously. I haven't been to the new Chase Center, but Klay Thompson, his performance the other night, it just broke my heart. Like, to see him score 0 points and be like 0 for 10 or whatever it was.
Yeah, right.
It's like, man, that stinks because that's going to sit with him throughout the entire offseason. Klay's an emotional guy. I worked with his dad for many years at ESPN. Michael's one of the great people in all of sports. He should be more of a national figure. The Warriors used to set up a TV for him in the family room during the playoffs. On Monday nights, you'll love this, for Monday Night Raw, because he's that much of a wrestling fan. Where he would watch Monday Night Raw instead of his son in the second round of the playoffs. It was ridiculous. So I think the Lakers could potentially be a landing spot for Klay. But it really comes down to what he wants to do. Does he want a big contract to honor him for the work and service he's done to this point? Is he trying to win more rings? Does he want to be on a new team in a new situation as he's, on the back nine of his career? I hope he stays in Golden State. I think it would be really cool if all 3 of those guys played their entire careers in Golden State and they all kind of went out together. They do have some young pieces, but man, the reason why they stink is not because of Klay, Steph, or Draymond. It's because of Andrew Wiggins. The guy scored 5 points a game more last year. He was arguably the MVP of the finals. They gave it to Steph, but he was the big reason why they won.
And he got voted. He got voted into All-Star starter 2 years ago.
Right, and now he's a ghost. And now he's just like, what did he do this year? He's just been really disappointing for them the last year and a half, really. So I think it starts there. But man, what a run! Not even just the finals appearances back in 14 or 13. Back in 13 when they went with the second round against San Antonio and Mark Jackson's first year. I mean, they changed the game forever, and history will honor them as such. But yeah, that was disappointing the other night to see Klay Thompson's final game.
Yeah, man, they've been really going at it hard for over a decade now, maybe 10, 11 years. With that same core, same coach,
the first run, they had all these vets. Like, if you remember in 15 and 16 in the finals, games 1 and 2 were defined by Leandro Barbosa and Andrew Bogut and
David West,
David double David Lee, once a Nick, always
David
a Nick.
Lee,
But now it's like this young group, and we'll see if Kuminga can improve. We'll see if Gary Payton III can improve, you know. And it's funny, you talk about these finals. The craziest stat, Randy, in all of basketball is that every single year of the NBA finals, there has been either a Knick or an ex-Knick on one of the rosters. This year, if it's Denver and Boston, like everybody thinks it will be, shout out to Luke Cornett and DeAndre Jordan. Like, shout out
And
to
Porzingis,
exactly. Like
yeah.
every year, Bill Cartwright, all those years with the Bulls, you
Boy.
know, like it's crazy when you go back through the rosters. Langston Galloway with the Suns against Bobby Portis and the Bucks. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy how many ex-Knicks, Shumpert, Mozgov, JR, like, I just don't want to see any more ex-Knicks in the finals. I want to see Knicks in the finals.
How often? I got two more. How often do you think about or dream about a Knicks championship parade downtown? Like just like bro, they shut down 7th Ave after a game 3 win against the Cavaliers. Could you imagine
I
NBA
know.
world champions? Like, bro, it's just everybody taking off work, nobody's going to school. They're gonna shut down every avenue pathway. Can you have you imagined what that would look like?
It's honestly giving me goosebumps just hearing you talk about it. You know, my dad is the biggest Boston Red Sox fan on planet Earth.
Mhm.
He quotes a French philosopher when asked why he's a Red Sox fan, given that he lived his whole life in New York. He says, "The heart has reason that reason itself knows nothing about." Right? This
Mm.
man is going to say "Cause of Death Boston Red Sox" on his tombstone one day. Right? And I remember sitting next to him in our living room, Game 4 against the Cardinals in 2004, that final out, and he didn't scream and yell. He wasn't like you know. He just like he just like imploded. He just like like he was so relieved. You could see the monkey off his back. You could feel the tension like leave his body. And the
Mhm.
fact that he went on to get 4 World Series in his life is insane to me because so much of my childhood was defined by uniformed police officers cursing him out for being a Red Sox fan. Entire
Yeah.
subway cars chanting, Lion sucks when we're going to the
Mhm.
Bronx. Like, I remember that. And so the fact that he got one, like, and got 3 more after that, it gives me hope and it makes me feel like I have the chance to have one in my life. I'm a 42-year-old man. It's been 45 years. Like, let's figure this out, guys. So yeah, the idea of them having a parade in June, it gets me really emotional, man. I'll be so grateful. I think I'll be a lot like my dad and that I won't be screaming and talking shit and yelling. I'll just be relieved and at peace because it's caused so much stress and anxiety in my life.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're kind of mimicking how New York was 30 years ago with the Rangers up top, best record, number 1 seed, and the Knicks are top 2, looking good. Like I'm just saying, Ben, you never know. This could really mimic how the Knicks went to the finals and the Rangers won the whole thing. Like we're on that path with both teams.
OJ back in the news? Too soon? Too
Uh,
soon? Too
yeah,
soon? OJ back in the
yeah,
news?
yeah.
94, man, is a crazy year.
Oh,
I'm very
definitely.
grateful that I was old enough to remember that. And just even the series leading up to it, you know, beating Indiana, which
Yeah.
was like so emotional and so awesome and special. So look, man, the table has been set. It's not ideal. We didn't get the entree we ordered, unfortunately, right?
Hmm.
Because Randall's out for the run. But man, I'm looking forward to dinner. This is going to be a great dinner party.
I probably asked you before in the past, but I will ask you. I will ask you again. Being a longtime Knicks fan, like, what's the one team like your most hated rival? Is it Boston, Miami, Chicago, Indiana? Like, who do you hate the most when you watch these teams
It's funny,
against
man.
the Knicks?
It's funny, man. As a Knicks fan, there have been times throughout my life when it's been the Knicks. But I would say it's Miami, man. You go down there and they got the linen on and
Hmm.
Irie screaming, and they have a retired Michael Jordan jersey up there for some weird reason. I don't know why. Man, and then from Eric Murdoch hitting game winners in the Garden and doing the throat
Murdoch.
slash, like
Wow.
get him out of here. Like I can't stand the heat. Pat Riley faxed his resignation to the Knicks. Like Miami, heat culture, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Like, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. But I am happy for Kevin Love that he's still in the mix. You know, K Love's still one of my favorite players, and it's good to see him get a shot to get back to the finals again. But man,
Hmm.
Miami is like easily my least favorite team in the NBA.
My last question, since we are on the topic of 94 for, somehow, tomorrow, not sure if you know about this. Tomorrow, April 19th, 1994, does that ring a bell to you in any shape of fashion, any
April
team?
19th, 94. No, what do we got?
So we have the 30th anniversary of Nas Illmatic tomorrow.
Yo, you put that on today and there's no skips. That's a perfect record. And I just love how that album, even when it's mixed down, it still sounds like dirty and raw.
Yeah.
And yeah, Q-Tip on production, of course, and just what a classic moment in New York City. I'd love to see Nas with a little stronger connection to the Knicks. Not really a big Knicks guy, I know he's a Mets guy. He's got a restaurant now in the stadium, building the casino in Queens, but I'd like to see Nas at a Knicks game. I can't remember seeing Nas at a Knicks game.
Nah, I know he's done some commercials with the Knicks related, but as far as anything, as a promo for the tip off or for the playoffs or for any fashion, there's no.
Oh, we don't see Nas at the Garden enough. But man, what a classic album! What a moment in time, and yeah, like I said, no skips. If you listen to that album from start to finish, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss a thing.
You got 3 favorite tracks on that album? I know it's tough. But 3.
Well, I mentioned Q-Tip, One Love, Halftime,
one
and oh man, I don't know. Give me another one. Give me another one.
The World Is Yours. Represent.
Yeah, probably Represent. Yeah, Represent's just like an anthem.
Okay.
What else is on? Yeah, it's like I was really big into Nas. I would say like even early 2000s as well. I know everyone talks Ether and all that stuff, but that whole album is really good. And then he came with the Lost Tapes, and then now he puts an album out with Hit Boy like every summer, which is just great. It's like grown man rap, which I just love.
I mean, I forgot New York State of Mind. So there's so many joints that I just coming on top of my head of the album. So it's 30 years. It's amazing. Still in heavy rotation for me. I'm a big 90s boom bap fan, but
you and
Ben,
I got to do a different pod on 90s hip hop because I used to work for Duck Down and produce videos for the late great Sean Price and Black Moon and Smith and
Black
Wesson
Moon.
We got to talk. We got to do a separate pod just on the music of our youth.
Duck Down, Boot Camp Click, Helter Skelter, Smith and Wesson, which became Cocoa Bees.
I had Tech and Steel perform in my high school when I was a senior in high school as my senior project. How great is that?
Yeah, we got to talk, man. That'll be a dope throwback kind of episode for real.
Let's do it. Keep this 90s energy going, man, for us old guys. Let's go Knicks.
That's right. You can find Ben Lyons on Twitter at I am Ben Lyons. Same thing for IG.
I am Ben Lyons on IG. Tell Denny and his Brooklyn Nets to enjoy the summer. Send us a postcard. Hope he's doing well. Love to the fam. I miss him, but yeah. Tell him and his Nets. What is he on vacation with Cam Thomas? What is he doing?
Yeah, Cam, Mikal Bridges.
They're all down in South Florida. Yeah, we'll see him at the Heat game on this weekend. I'm sure.
Facts. Ben Lyons, man, love you, bro. Thank you, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man, and best of luck, continued success. Look forward to seeing you at Hoops in the Sun this summer, man. We're like 6 weeks away. It's gonna be
2 more months, man. Don't remind me. There's a lot more work to be done, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
I'll see you out at the beach, man. The Bronx Riviera. Be good.
That's right, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right, so that was Ben Lyons. We got my boy Trayvon Edwards coming up in a second. Let me get this graphic on my face. There we go. Matter of fact, bring it right back on. What's up, Trav? How you doing, man?
What's going on? I'm all right. How you doing?
Listen, man, first of all, I hope you're feeling better. I thank you for coming on, just spending whether it's 10, 15, 20 minutes with us. Looking forward to it, man. How you feel?
I feel awful, but I'm gonna pull up for you, man.
I love you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Listen, where do I want to start with you? You want NBA playoffs? You want to reminisce on 30th anniversary of Nas Illmatic tomorrow? I know you're a big hip hop guy, so we could probably start there if you want.
Let's go basketball, man. I'm not
all right,
crazy
let's go
about
basketball.
The album.
Really?
I'm not crazy about the album, but respect to Nas, yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, it's a classic,
but
unanimously. But it wasn't one of my favorites.
Okay.
My favorite Nas album is Life Is Good.
Okay, all right. That was 2012.
Yeah,
2012.
2012, 2012. I mean, he got some other shit too, but like,
Mm-hmm.
that was my favorite. You know what I mean? Like, um, yeah, I think Illmatic's like one of the true New York albums. You know what I mean? If you had to close your eyes and listen to something that could kind of paint a picture, I feel
Yeah,
like it would take you back to like what you think New York was if you wasn't from there.
yeah. I mean, I'm a big hip hop fan. Where would I put that all time? For me, probably 10, along with some Wu Tang joints, Biggie, Jay Z, the whole people. So yeah, 30th anniversary, Illmatic tomorrow, and I'll probably be hearing it tomorrow. NBA playoffs, man, we're still waiting to see who Boston gets, who OKC gets. We'll find out tomorrow. Either New Orleans or Sacramento will get the Thunder, and Chicago, Miami will get the Boston Celtics. You watching outside looking in, what gives Boston the best matchup? Who gives OKC the best matchup where potentially it could be a very interesting series for both?
Boston, I don't think nobody giving them a matchup to be honest. I think they really good. They really good.
Mm,
But I'd also like how things are set up for the Knicks to meet them in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Knicks lose to them in the
mhm.
Eastern Conference Finals, but I have them going a deep run. I really like that for the Knicks. You know what I mean? Like I think that they can get Philly if that's who they're going to play, and then the next round I think they can get past them as well
Yeah.
if everybody can stay healthy, and then from there, I think they run into a wall with the Celtics. Celtics just really good. Like they get it
Hmm.
going, man. It's like no mistakes. They're a well-oiled run machine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm. So if I think Chicago will get Miami, will defeat Miami tomorrow. Obviously, Jimmy's going to be out, but I don't want to count out Miami like that because they're very tough minded. They got Coach Spo. Um, listen, if I picking that coach or Chicago coach, I'm going to pick Miami. But I just think without Jimmy being there, and I'm not saying they can't win without him, but
Hmm.
it's going to be tough because you are losing a lot when he's not on the floor. And I think
Hmm.
Chicago just has this momentum going on with DeRozan, Kobe White. I think Caruso is going to try to come back tomorrow. So I would say Chicago gets that one, and I think Sacramento gets over New Orleans because there's no Zion. So I think they will get OKC and give OKC a run for their money.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Chicago's a tricky one. I'm a Chicago
Hmm.
Bulls fan, but I look at, I mean, Kobe White's playing great,
Yeah.
most improved to me. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, the Heat team shows up and play hard, so it's interesting. You never know what inconsistently what the Bulls are going to show up.
Mhm.
Certain players can have a good game, some can't. As far as OKC, uh, you know that would have been a tough matchup if they would have got the Lakers. I'll say
Mm.
that. I think that they'll end up playing the Pelicans.
So you got New Orleans over Sacramento tomorrow.
Yeah,
Even without Zion.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
It's the style of play. Style of play. They don't slow it down. They're not gonna run a gun. I
Mhm.
think that's the Kings style. Is like once you start trying to play them type of games with them, that's how they win. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like they match the energy of the Warriors the other night. You know what I mean? Run a gun, but like they get the looks. But they style
Yeah.
also let the opponent back in the game. And New Orleans is more of a half court set team, so they get to control the pace. They're not gonna try to just run, 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 run.
Yeah.
So, and I expect McCollum to have a better game. I expect Ingram to have a better game, you
Mhm.
know, and match up that way.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as I would love to see Fox against Shea Gilgeous, little Kentucky thing going at it. Sabonis and Chet, see them scrap down low. And again, they're both relatively young teams. I don't know if Monk will be back for potential first round series, but I think on paper, obviously, if Zion was in, I'll probably pick Zion and New Orleans. But if you give me Sacramento, who was a third seed last year, with this pretty much the same roster against OKC and how young they are. I think OKC in 5, OKC in 6. If it is Sacramento, if it is New Orleans, I think OKC will get it done in 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they got it. They're really good. I think they're being disrespected, including by myself as well. I kind of believe in them. I kind of don't. But with them not playing the Lakers, I think that they dodged the bullet. I think Denver's going to do all the dirty work for them. So
how many games it'll take Denver to beat the Lakers?
5.
5.
I think they make a vast improvement by getting 1. I don't see another sweep, but I think they go, in 5, 4-1.
So what other series you see out there that could potentially be a long series, an upset, 7 games?
Clippers, Mavs 7.
I got Dallas, by the way.
I got Dallas as well. Suns, Wolves, I got Suns in 6.
Ooh, it's upset for Phoenix.
Is it upset?
I mean, I'm going by the numbers.
Yeah, I don't look at seeds. Seeds is out. Same thing. I don't. Once in the playoffs, you make it, you play. You got to be a really bad team to be considered quote unquote
upset,
under like one of those joints. Yeah. Not looking forward to the Cavs Magic series, but I hope that the Magic, continue to move.
Yeah,
not looking forward to the Bucks Pacers. Not even a good one to me, just because there's so many injuries.
Yeah,
I could do without that one. I prefer the Bucks to advance, but the Pacers advance, cool. Yeah. Looking at these,
and then New York and Philly, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I got the Knicks getting them. They just Philly not healthy. The Knicks will have to play a really bad, non-disciplined game to trick those off. I got the Knicks in 5.
That's what I really want to say. I'm giving Philly a benefit of the doubt. They might get 2, but obviously if the Knicks can get it done in 5, that's all power, for them. But I know we've been Knicks centric and heavy the last couple of days, getting some Knicks fans on, but I feel like they really. I know Randall was out, but I feel like they just have this fun energy going on that I just don't see Philly breaking that mold. Obviously, in the potential round 2, it could be Milwaukee or Indiana, 2 tough teams. The Knicks are they were 2-3 against Milwaukee in the regular season. I forgot what the number was for Indiana, but I think they did beat Indiana a few times. So if you get past Philly, get it done quick, get some more rest for your guys, and just see what Milwaukee and Indiana do. Because before Giannis got hurt, or they announced it, I told Dennis I got Indiana beating Milwaukee.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, no Giannis is a big deal. I mean, and also Indy. Usually, I throw out regular season matchups and say, "Oh, well, they swept them." Sure, but no Giannis really changes everything. So
of
the
course.
Pacers definitely, but I want to see Dame have a decent run in the Eastern Conference.
Me too, man. I the whole thing with Portland and going to a contender and playing for a championship, I know that's what he wants. Obviously, you can see people with the rumors of like, yo, would Dame wants to leave? Should he be out? I don't know what the contract is. It could be free agent. I just don't know how many years he has left. But I mean, I would assume Dame is still a member of the Bucks next season. I would assume, right? You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody about to. He don't get it like that.
Nah. Yeah, I mean he ain't gonna axe out back back to back years. I think it just it's been a weird year, and
I mean, he could try.
yeah, but you know, I think he'll run it back. Give Doc Rivers a full year under his belt, being the coach and everybody healthy. Again, they might beat Indiana. We just don't know. But I don't see a Dame wanting out, asking out, or feeling like this was a failure if they don't get past round one. Last year, I get it because they were the one seed. They lost to Miami. That was kind of crazy. But this year, being the third seed, new head coach midway, still trying to figure some things out. I'm not trying to make any excuses for them, but I just don't see a Dame being that kind of guy to be, oh, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I don't think he would technically ask out. I mean, I think it's in a case of just, hey,
Mhm.
this didn't work. But it's just a lot of money that I don't see the Bucks trying to move around or trying to take another deal that doesn't make sense for them. It's not
Yeah.
about the support of Damian Lillard. It doesn't work that way.
Mhm.
So, I mean, he requested a trade. They sent him somewhere. Unfortunately, that place wasn't the place that he felt
Yeah.
um, was the place for him, and that's what happened.
So before the playoffs actually begin, your conference finals for the East was Milwaukee, Boston, and New York, and for the
Yes,
West is it's who?
Denver and
What, Dallas? You think?
yeah, I go Denver, Dallas.
Hmm. They're tough. Dallas gonna be a tough out. I mean, I did pick them against the Clippers. They might get it. They might get that done in six. Not even gonna hold you.
Yeah, no, I mean they're in a good spot, but I don't think they're gonna do too much damage. Like I don't think I got the Nuggets winning it all.
Yeah.
Repeating, they're really good, and I'm interested to see how that goes. But injuries happen, things happen, shots fall, people struggle. You can't predict this stuff, but anything can happen at the particular moment.
Now you're right because earlier you picked Phoenix over Minnesota. Um,
hmm
I think if I
I,
remember,
I don't
I think
trust them.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't trust Minnesota.
Hmm. Because of the lack of playoff experience, or what?
I mean, Wolves fans can hate it. I mean, whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just think that like they're still a young squad.
Mhm.
Um, they got some vets though. Um, they they had to put like a full game together though.
Yeah,
But who knows? I mean, like I just think Phoenix matches up well with them. I think if they matched up with any other team, I probably would have gave them the advantage, just because they just been rolling all year. But definitely some matchup issues and stuff like that. It's gonna be them games gonna be very close. They're not
mm,
gonna be blowouts. They're not gonna be like decided like that. I have them in six. That series could like go seven easy. But
yeah.
I think I don't know how that
Now,
music coming on, but sorry about that.
my man rocking over there. My man getting a little party, little party going on over there. No, I
Yeah.
think Minnesota is in that Sacramento spot last year, where is a young up and coming team, third seed, and they get a veteran team like the Warriors last year. Took them to 7 games. You get game 7 on your home court, you lose. Um, and then Minnesota's in that prime spot where obviously the veterans are the Bradley Beals, the Bookers, and Kevin Durant. And this can go two ways. One, Phoenix can lose, and everybody's saying, "Oh, this is legacy this," and break the team up what you can. And like, oh, is it a failure? Or it can flip and say Phoenix does beat Minnesota, and it's gonna be like, well, they were young. They had some injuries to Towns at the midway of the season. They could be back there next year. But you look at Sacramento this year, they were in a playing game, and it's a toss up to even get back to where you were the previous year. So again, if you ask me today, who would I pick?
Hmm.
I mean, oh man, you know, I love me some KD. I want I want both, but I can't take both. But just by the skin of my hair, I'll probably just say Phoenix, even though I said Minnesota like last week.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that'd be
I just
tough.
think the veterans. I think the veterans are gonna turn it up. And Devin Booker's a tough out, man.
Mhm.
When he knows when things are on the line, and if those guys can stay healthy, like I said, most of the time they're dealing with injuries, and that team
Yeah,
normally has to deal with things. And I just think that they take care of business.
yeah. Because even with that, if they get past Minnesota, they're gonna see Denver or potential Lakers in a rematch of last year's conference
They're
semis.
not saying no. They're not saying no Lakers, bro. I don't
Listen.
care
I
how.
like to give benefit. They might get swept, gentlemen's sweep, but I'm gonna say, all right, fuck it. Let's say Denver, Phoenix, and Denver
Hmm.
around rematch of last year's conference semis. But you got Denver beating Phoenix again.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. A tough team, man. Like
I know they
Phoenix
are.
has to
Yeah.
play a perfect. They had to play a perfect game, man. Unfortunately,
Yeah. You're right.
I feel like most of those teams have to play a perfect game against Denver.
Yeah. 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 Because
It's tough, man.
you
You have
potentially
to play a
have.
you have to play a good game against them. Like if the Clippers was healthy, I would put them up against them.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I think Dallas gonna give them problems though. So it's all matchups. It depends on who matches up with who.
No, you're right. I think again, I want Katie to be in that conversation where he's fighting for a third title, get back to a conference finals, but that'll be like the upset of the fucking century or whatever to take down Denver, potential 3-time MVP and Joker, which I don't. I got Shea as the MVP.
Hmm.
I got Brunson in the top three. I know Joker had a great year. Luca got crazy numbers. But if you ask me to put a vote in the ballot tonight, I'm gonna go with Shea as the MVP. Where do you stand on who should be MVP this year?
SGA. I mean, if not, Jokic. But I think
Mm,
this year, SGA. Number one in the
mm.
West,
Yeah.
probably the best record in the league.
Like, did you
They
think
had a
OKC would be number one this year? Honestly,
absolutely not.
no, not even close.
I don't even think OKC fans thought that.
Playoffs,
Being
yes.
honest,
One seed, bro. That's amazing, amazing.
yeah, no, they put it together. They got a good brotherhood over there. They play good basketball. They play the game right. They got a
Mhm.
good respect for the game, and they reap the benefits of it. Still a young team though.
Yeah.
I don't think they're an easy out, but I just think that in certain situations that they are going to get caught off guard at some point. You know what I mean? Like, but Shay's playing. He's on a mission.
How often do you look back at the Shea, Paul George, Clippers, Thunder trade from years ago and be like, well, you know what? They both won in the end, or do you feel like one team got more of the advantage? Even though both have not won a championship, but do you feel like one has the edge over the other?
I don't look back at trades at all.
Okay.
I think it worked out for both of them because at the point, Doc Rivers wasn't really playing them like that. Um, and then when you think about, you know, House of Chris Paul's a huge part of Shea's early success. You know what I mean? Those years in OKC for him to be able to work with
Hmm.
him. And, you know, Shea taking the challenge, he could have just been a subpar player, but he's gotten better each year and has, you know, it showed in his play and it showed in his leadership and guys that piggyback and say, all right, you are a leader and win us some games. His confidence had to be there. And he has ultimate confidence at this point. I'm sure he believes that if not, he's the top five player, he's the one. So, and the Paul George joint, I think that it was a good fit for the Clippers. I think there's been some inconsistencies, but Paul George is one of the most fun guys to watch in this league. So I think it was the right fit for both of those teams.
Mm. Is there one guy or two or more in these playoffs that you're looking at like, bro, you gotta like have a fucking playoff series of your life because it's either gonna, and I hate the legacy talk, but it's like I'm just gonna, yeah, the legacy, or like, in order for your team to advance, you gotta show out more. Like who are you most excited to see in the playoffs from an individual standpoint?
Anthony Edwards, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic, Kobe White,
Hmm.
Paul George, KD, Book,
Ben Carroll, his first playoffs.
Paolo. Yeah, Paolo got game. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, Paolo. I'm
Halliburton.
not crazy about his game, but sure.
Mm.
Um, Let me see who else I'm missing.
You got Denver,
Uh,
Dallas, Clippers. You said Shea,
Peyton Watson, Jamal Murray,
Murray.
LeBron. I always like watching LeBron play.
Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell when he's healthy. Jason Tatum.
yeah. Pretty much the All-Star team.
Damon. Yeah, most of the guys, you know what I mean? Most of the guys
Yeah,
that are stars in this league. I enjoy watching.
but I
They
agree with
put on
you
they
on.
put on a show.
I agree with you on Ant-Man. This is Ant-Man's what, second playoff or third, or which one is it? You think you recall second or third playoff appearance for Ant-Man?
Uh,
I know
I
last
want
year
to
they
say,
made it. No, year before that they probably made it.
yeah, I think it was some play-in stuff though. Um,
Where did
yeah,
no? Where did
yeah,
the
no,
eight
they
seed?
won the play-in and they got in. Yeah. So he gonna be prepared this year, but
Yeah.
like I said, they gotta put together a complete game, man.
Mhm. No, I agree. I think that's one guy I will be excited to see this playoff run. The confidence is on a thousand for this guy.
Hmm.
So if he's the guy that's going to take out Durant, Booker, and Beal, then he's got his work cut out for him. But I think it'll be fun to see him advance and what they do. Sacramento got some dogs, Fox, Sabonis. If they get
Hmm.
past New Orleans, obviously we won't see Zion. I would have picked. I would have said Zion if he was advancing. And I think real quick before I let you go, one, I do appreciate you being here under the weather, but I asked Ben Lyons before he hopped off about the Warriors. Like, what do you? They got the playing game. They lost to Sacramento, so they're out. But a lot of more questions during the offseason about what do you do with Steph, Clay, Draymond. I think Steph stays, but what do you do to A, keep it together? B, if somebody happens to leave, what direction you think they're going to?
I don't think they're gonna break up. I mean, I think Klay Thompson will hear out his options, but he's gonna come back. I think this
Mhm.
team is just what we're gonna see from here on out. Um, and they just gotta figure it out and see how they can build a team around like what they got. I mean, Phoenix is in the same boat after they signed Grayson Allen to an extension, so they're kind of strapped
Yeah.
financially. And that's the thing. Like a lot of these teams are just getting younger and developing talent instead of inheriting these guys off these heavy contracts and trades. I think that's the tough situation. So, um, you know, yeah, I don't think they're gonna make any crazy moves though.
Mhm.
I think I mean a couple of reserve guys are gonna get switched out, but you know,
So they're gonna add pieces, but they're not gonna. It's more like, all right, Clay's off the bench
It'll be
for
one. It'll be like 1 year stuff.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like unless it's hard to convince a Clay Thompson to take a pay cut and say, "Oh, you don't deserve this money or this that, and the third." I think like it would it would have to be on him to take it.
So would you be shocked if Clay or Draymond is not there next year? I know, Steph ain't going nowhere. So
I
if
would
one,
I would definitely be shocked. I'm
hmm.
not gonna lie. I just don't see them breaking up. Not those three.
Hmm. I mean, because if you look at it, Trav, the Western Conference is getting better, younger. Obviously, everybody goes through the cycles. We get it.
Mhm.
They got a rising star in Kaminga, so that's a nice building block they have for the future. Um, Chris Paul, is he a Warrior next year? I don't
Nah,
know.
guaranteed. He out of there. Get
He's
that off
out.
the books.
And Chris Paul got to find somewhere else to try to win a championship. Maybe,
Mhm.
I don't know, Lakers. Does he finally go to the Lakers after all this time?
I don't know, but I don't even know if they would want him at this point.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see where they go. They've been so many deep playoff runs in the last 10 years, and it's like you got 4 titles, you got all-stars, you got MVPs, chip MVPs, a lot going on in that same coach, a lot going on with that team. So to see them do a little, here and there fix remains to be seen, but I'll be shocked if Clay's not there. I'd be shocked if Draymond's not there. I know Steph ain't going nowhere, so that's the super shocker. If he somehow says, "Yo, I want out" or whatever, that'd be like, "Oh, that's like, all right, panic button." But you know, they'll make some moves. I don't know about drastically, but I think they know they got to do something.
Yeah, I just don't know what they can do and who
Mm.
they can give up, and I think that's the tricky situation up on Mike Dunleavy. You know what I mean? To make the right call, so he got his hands full in this one.
As long as you,
Also,
as long as
the
yeah.
draft development didn't pan out how it was supposed to. So I think that's a whole nother thing when you just only got Kaminga out of that project. Pods is cool too, though. I like Pods, but
Yeah, him.
I
Yes.
just don't know how effective it becomes immediately.
Do you know offhand what their 2024 draft could look like? Do they got picks anywhere or no? Or not many?
Nah, not any. No, they picks go to Portland GP2.
Oh, Gary Payton. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh man, it's gonna
They
be
swung
very.
big, man. That's the thing. You swing
Yeah.
big, man. It's tough, man. That's what I said. The Phoenixes, the Golden States. And you think about these teams. That's why they're the 1, 2, 3 seeds, or and they're there is because they're young, man, and like the development is there. You know what I mean? Like they drafted well. They brought in the right guys that didn't cost an arm and a leg, and got the collateral to move. Like the fact that the Thunder was able to make a trade to just bring in Gordon Hayward. He didn't really do much with the trade, but like
Mhm.
it didn't hurt him.
Yeah.
They dangled some collateral and said, "Hey, here go 2 second rounds or whatever, and Trey Man, and y'all can have this." You know what I'm saying? Like you got to run your teams damn near like a college now.
Yeah. You're right. I got
Develop
two
those
more.
rookies, those young guys, and keep it
Y-
moving.
I got two more before I let you go. If you were Joe Lacob, the Warriors GM, you're in the war room. Like, where? Obviously, age is a factor, but where do you think? What areas do the Warriors need help? Like, what is it? Front line, backcourt, rim protection, the bench. Like, how do you begin to kind of
Two or
fix?
five, 2 or 5. They need to hit the draft. Two or
Okay,
five.
which
Maybe if a Jared McCain fell there,
mm,
or which Jared McCain probably go a little bit higher, but you know what I'm saying? They need a
which
guy that can also knock it down, that can play kind of a tweener to help Steph. Also, but sometimes they need like a bigger defender that can go 2-3. And then they also need a consistent five, man. Like they've been rotating that spot all year. You know what I'm saying? They tried Travis Jackson and he just wasn't. I mean, they started him. I don't want to blame the loss on him, but he looked like a deer with a deer in front of headlights against
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento, and they ran him up off the court where they didn't even start.
Yeah.
So you know, it's interesting.
So my last question to you, and I'm glad you mentioned two guard because obviously we're going to play fantasy booking here. So I don't think Donovan's going to remain a Cavalier after this year, barring they win the fucking championship. And you mentioned taking a swing, swinging big. Is a guy like Donovan for that to say for the Warriors? He's a two guard.
They
Is
can't
he?
afford him.
They can't. Okay, so what's going to take to get for any team? What's going to take a Donovan? What's going to take getting a Donovan on their roster?
I mean, for the teams that actually got like I think he's gonna stay. I don't think he's going
You think he'll
anywhere.
stay?
I think they need to move Darius Garland. They had to make a choice between those two for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Donnie got to get healthy. He banged up on the low, so he's damaged goods for anybody if he don't take care of his body over the summer. He gonna will it through, which I don't think is smart, but he gonna play through it and then he gonna try to get paid. But it don't even matter wherever he end up, he gonna still get paid because he on that 1 year.
Right.
So
I mean, just asking. I feel like he 70% again. It just depends on how well they do. I'm not in Donovan's head, but I could see him playing somewhere else. Where that somewhere else would be outside of New York. Can the Lakers get him? Can the Warriors get him? What other team would fit Donovan Mitchell in a non-rebuilding mode where it's potential playoff and championship mode? Aside from Cleveland, I just don't know where he would go if he does decide to leave. Because obviously it's going to be a sign and trade. They ain't gonna let him walk for nothing.
right, but that's the thing of taking on you know what I'm saying, taking on that. You look at it, like bruh signed a 5 year. His average salary right now he'll be making. So
A
this
lot of money.
he got 2 more years, bro.
Hmm.
He got with a player option in 25, 26. He making 34. To make a trade for him right now is eating up your cap.
Mm.
So you giving up whatever you gonna give up, it ain't gonna be cheap. And it ain't gonna be one of them moves that we've
Mm.
been seeing.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt your cap. And you gotta give up somebody.
Mm.
I just don't see it. Free agent in 2026. I don't see it.
So you're saying
Maybe if it
Donovan would
was
be a
maybe if it was 2025, I'd be like, okay.
yeah. Yeah, 2 more years? Wow.
That's like that's not it, man. That's not the move.
Yeah.
That's not the move. That's a bad GM move if you try and trade for that right now because you're gonna have to start all over.
Yep. That's crazy.
That
Um,
don't that don't help that don't help a Warriors.
right.
Somebody asked me about DeMar DeRozan as a potential target for the Warriors.
That's that's not because you did mention 2-3, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because the Andrew Wiggins is and then,
He too inconsistent.
yeah,
He too inconsistent. I
yeah.
like him, but he way too inconsistent for me.
So
DeMar's due 28. He's an unrestricted free agent in 24 this
so this,
summer.
this summer, I think him and Zach are the same, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think Zach is going back to Chicago. Yeah, the roads into the Warriors that could be something because he's a guy that gets you 25, 30 a clip at ease. So just to take the load
And
off of
I don't think they even need to do that. I mean, I remember I was pushing for DeMar to come to the Knicks. which I'm kind of glad it didn't work out that way because their team is made perfectly for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like anybody that's like a tweener between a 2 and 3 could work out well with the Warriors.
Mm.
And I think being able, I think the strength that, well, the guys that like the Warriors need like a Paul George type. They need somebody like that that's like he can shoot the three, he can come off the dribble, and he can defend on the other end.
Defend,
And
yeah.
there's not too many of those. Like that's a dime a dozen. They own other teams, but they not about the other teams not about to get a Warriors then, and not
Yeah.
for cheap. You know,
Nah.
like how Kelly Oubre was for the Sixers this year is what the Warriors wish he would have been for them.
Mm-hmm. You're right about
Like
that.
his years was terrible with the Warriors, but he's playing great on this 1 year with Philly.
Yeah. Even Dante. Look at Dante now with the Knicks and like, yo,
You know,
if we had that Dante over here, like maybe we would have thought about keeping him.
yep, it's usage though, and it's confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like y'all playing with more unselfish. Well, not saying that's selfish, but the style of play is more watch
Yeah.
in hopes that you get it versus you're actually gonna get it. There was plenty of opportunities where Dante got a chance to shoot over 20 something shots, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I ain't paid this top dollar ticket to watch Dante DiVincenzo Chuck, but
Yep.
I get it. You know, he met his parlay, and then Kelly Oubre
Mhm.
just doing his job, being a menace, and earning his way back into good grace of good contracts. So
Yeah.
those dudes ain't around no more. 5 years ago, it was a league full of them.
Yeah.
League full of them 3 and Ds.
Mhm.
Now that's luxury to have a 3 and D on your roster.
Mhm.
That's actually decent. Those Trevor Arizas, those Magruders, those like like, oh, I'm gonna just pick them up real quick
Yeah.
for 1 year. Those ain't around no more. Them,
Mhm. You're
You
right.
getting undersized. You getting undersized two guards now, 6'4" shooting guards that can't defend.
My last question: what do you think Atlanta does with Murray or Trey Young? Are they both Hawks next year? And if not, who's the one you think they would explore getting rid of?
I think the Lakers take a chance with Trey Young.
Mhm.
I think DeJounte Murray is probably going to be their guy in Atlanta. I don't think that was their first choice, but I could see Trey moving just because he's going to be aggressive on that end and he's run his course. Despite what he says, they're not, they just got to part ways. And I just don't think that also Trey Young going to the Lakers is a good move either.
Hmm.
But it's in the script. It's in the script for them to get a name.
Yeah. They get the name. So it's like again, I don't know Trey's contract. I don't know if he'll be free agent, unrestricted, restricted. I have no idea at this point as we're taping this now. But yeah, if you got a Trey Young in your roster, does that solve your problems? I'm gonna say no because I think D'Lo has been pretty effective on that team at the point guard. But it's like all right, you plug in DeRozan on that team. Okay, now there's something. If you plug in, somebody at the 5 or the 4 for Aaron Davis, that could be something because they do have holes to fix. I don't know if Trey Young is the one that's gonna make everything ablaze and put together, but
It, it's
some are
never it's
saying,
never about it's never about fixing holes with the Lakers. It's about big names. It's about selling
yeah,
tickets. It's entertainment. They don't winning comes in the package, but sometimes they don't deliver on it end. But
yeah,
the thing is about selling the excitement of the potential of what's to come. You get a name like Trey Young, you get those photoshops going, you get those things of, hey, this is our year, and that's what happens. I'm honestly shocked that they're in and the Warriors are out, but that they got it done.
exactly. Because I was seeing that a Trey Young to again, I don't know how it'll work, but Trey Young on a San Antonio Spurs with Wembayama it could be a nice pairing. That's what I saw on social media. That's not for me, but I'm like, oh, Trey and Wemby. That means Atlanta is going to do a deal with San Antonio again, but now for the other star, I'm not sure how that'll work. But let's just play the game. Trey Young going to a San Antonio Spurs. Is that like the right destination for him and the right pairing for their budding star in Wembayama?
I would love to see it. I think we all would love to see it. But at the end of the day, like I think if anything, like a Paul George that's set up to go to Philly, people who have him linked to Philly for next summer. I think a lot of those dudes need to already. Oh, speaking of, since Victor Wembanyama, uh, Wembayama, I don't know why I say Wembayama. Victor Wembanyama has already received messages from players wanting to join forces with him, which is true. Which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true. Go play. Get it. Join while they're young. Because it's the league about to be a different league in 3 years, especially if that young man can stay healthy. So
So
I'm with it.
so what's the kind of again for now my last question? I apologize. What is the ideal running mate for Wemby? Is it I would assume a point guard, right? But
Mhm.
who is out there that you say, you know what? If that guy was with Wemby next year, it benefits San Antonio, obviously. It benefits that point guard for new scenery, and it benefits Wembayama in his growth period for year two. Who is like the perfect point guard out there that can mix well with Wemby?
Um, I would say Trey Young, man. Like honestly, because Trey Young can pass.
Mm.
He can shear the walls. He can really pass, and I think, and he also can shoot, and like also bring star power. So, I think they could really shake things up. And also, San Antonio is not too far from Oklahoma, so
Mm.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'll love to see it. Seeing Trey in the Western Conference could be fun and different, and just seeing a new scenery for him. I think it'll benefit everybody. So if that's the word on the street, and that's could be in play, Trey and Wemby could definitely make some noise in that Greg Pop offense for real. Yeah. But I know you got to run. You're under the weather, so I don't want to keep you. You blessed me with 40 plus minutes. Supposed to be 15, 20. Don't want to hold you up, but they can follow you on social media. Trayvon Travonne on
Yep.
Twitter and IG. The same thing, right?
It's my full name, Trevon Edwards.
Trevon Edwards.
So
My boy, love you, bro. Appreciate it. Enjoy the playoffs. I know we'll catch up soon.
yeah, I see you at Hoops in the Sun this summer.
I fucking better hope so. I got a nice tent and chair for you with the
All
shade.
right,
All right,
all
bro.
right. I'm gonna hold you to that. All right, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy. Get better.
All right, peace.
Bet. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. Want to appreciate everybody who chimed in, who tapped in. We got about overall 250 plus who chimed in the last hour and a half. Big time thank you to Ben Lyons. Big time thank you to Trevon Edwards for coming on, getting some talk about the NBA playoffs, the Knicks, Warriors, Illmatic 30th anniversary tomorrow. We should be back here tomorrow afternoon around 3 o'clock. Still finalizing some guests for that time frame. Daddy Blanco will be back joining me tomorrow afternoon. So again, follow us. I'm gonna put it on the screen. TikTok, it's in the game pod. Download, rate, comment, subscribe on the Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. Follow us on youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. I would love to get more of your comments and your engagement during these shows. We're doing it live. We haven't done these in a very long time, so I appreciate anybody who chimed in for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or even a minute. Hopefully, we made you special, a part of your day. So back tomorrow afternoon. It's in the Game podcast. Rainy J. Cruz. I am Danny Blanco. We out.